Once upon a time, in a peaceful little village, there lived a kind old woman named Grandma Elsie. She was known for her warm heart, wise words, and cheerful spirit. Everyone in the village adored her. They often visited her to seek advice, or simply to share their thoughts. One day, a young man from the village named Leo came to her home. He looked curious and asked, "Grandma Elsie, how are you always so happy? No matter what happens, you always seem to smile. Don't you ever feel sad when things go wrong?" Grandma Elsie gave him a gentle smile and said, "My dear Leo, life is full of highs and lows. Some days bring joy, others bring pain. But I've learned that true happiness comes from within, not from the events around us." Leo looked puzzled. "What do you mean? How can someone be happy when bad things happen?" Grandma Elsie nodded and began to tell him a story from her younger days. "When I was your age, I had a family, a husband and children. We didn't have much money, but we had love and laughter. One year, my husband fell gravely ill, and we couldn't afford the medicine he needed. We did everything we could, but he passed away. It was the hardest moment of my life. I cried every night and believed I would never feel joy again." Leo listened closely, his eyes fixed on her. "After a while," she continued, "I realized that staying sad wouldn't change what happened. My children still needed their mother. I had to learn how to smile again, for them and for myself. That's when I began to see life in a new way. I accepted that life would always have both sunshine and storms, but I chose not to let the storms take away my sunshine." Leo looked at her with amazement. "But how did you do that?" he asked. Grandma Elsie chuckled softly. "Every morning I wake up and remind myself, this is a brand new day. I will find one thing that brings me joy. Sometimes it's just a ray of sunlight, or a bird singing outside my window. Other times, it's a kind word from a neighbor or a blooming flower. There is always something to appreciate." Leo thought about her words and asked, "But what if something really terrible happens? Can you still be happy?" "It's not easy," she replied honestly, "but I remind myself that nothing lasts forever. Even the bad moments will pass. When trouble comes, I whisper to myself, this too shall pass. And then I focus on what I still have. My health, the people who love me, or simply being alive. Happiness is a choice. You can focus on what's wrong and stay miserable, or you can look for what's right and be at peace. It's not always simple, but it's always possible." Leo nodded slowly, absorbing every word. He thanked Grandma Elsie for sharing her story and wisdom. When he left her cottage, he decided to follow her advice. From that day forward, Leo tried to find something good in each situation. Bit by bit, his perspective began to change. Even when life was tough, he learned to stay hopeful and to find happiness in the little things. Soon, the story of Grandma Elsie spread throughout the village. Others began to understand that happiness didn't depend on riches or luck. It was about how they viewed the world. They too started to smile more and worry less. And little by little, the village grew into a place filled with warmth and joy, all because one wise old woman had taught them the secret of true happiness. Happiness, after all, is not something that happens to us. It's something we choose, no matter what life brings. Even in our hardest days, we can find small joys, and with a grateful heart, we can face life's storms with courage and peace. If the story makes you think, helps you, don't forget to follow, subscribe, like, and share. I will be back with more interesting and exciting stories in life. Thank you for watching.